It is not uncommon to hear someone say, I am a history and literature person, not a math and science person, and vice versa when referring to their intellectual skills, capabilities, and interests. But why is this distinction made? What separates what we call the humanities from the sciences? And should we have this distinction at all? So to start on the difference, I'll give you the simple modern definitions of the humanities and the sciences. The humanities generally refer to the study of human experience. This includes history, philosophy, literature, art, culture, and language. In contrast, the sciences refer to the study of the natural world through empiricism. This includes the pure sciences of physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics, but also the applied sciences of medicine, technological innovation, and engineering. Interestingly enough, there are certain subjects that fall under both categories. Architecture is a good example of this. Architecture is naturally seen as a form of art falling under the humanities as it deals with cultural and personal expression and has been relevant in discussions on history, philosophy, art, literature, and so on. But to be a good architect requires an understanding of the sciences. A building needs to actually make sense in the real world, and to understand what does and doesn't make sense requires an understanding of the laws of nature and engineering and mathematical principles. An architect with no understanding of the sciences may try to create skyscrapers made of clay going up into the stratosphere, while one who has no understanding of the arts will litter the world with ugly buildings that make sense but carry no aesthetic weight. Other than architecture, there's also psychology, anthropology, linguistics, and more that are also considered to be a subject that overlaps both the humanities and the sciences. But when looking at history, you'll find that things go deeper. In ancient Greece, the term they used for sciences was natural philosophy. To those living in antiquity, philosophy simply meant the study of nature, and if that was the case, then science was simply applying philosophy to the world around us, and in the case of animals, biology, or space, astronomy, or elements, chemistry, or numbers, mathematics. Aristotle, perhaps one of the most famous Greek philosophers, wrote not only on ethics and morality, but also on scientific topics and is credited with creating the scientific method. It is not uncommon to hear people use the term liberal arts as a term that is interchangeable with the humanities. But that was not always the case. In antiquity and during the Middle Ages, a liberal arts education meant teaching the students subjects that would make them well-rounded. These subjects were grammar, rhetoric, dialectic, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music. You'll see here that liberal arts broadly meant any sort of intellectual subject, humanities or not, that would bring the student closer to greater knowledge. So, what exactly is my point in making this video? My point is simply that I think the humanities and the sciences need to be respected equally, not just by institutions, but by individuals. The modern division of the subjects as two completely different worldviews has caused a great devaluing of the other, with some dedicated scientists viewing the humanities as less than their focus, and some dedicated to the humanities sharing a similar contempt for the sciences. Ultimately, the division makes sense. The humanities focuses on studying matters relating to humans with a bit of subjectivity, interpretation, logical thinking, etc. The sciences tries to strip away this subjective interpretation and look at the world through abstractions, analyzing and drawing conclusions from data through first-hand research and testing. It is essentially rationalism versus empiricism. With that being said, it may be obvious that these two ways of thinking are not at all contradictory, nor should they be. You can absolutely use both rational and empirical principles when examining the world. Knowledge can be gained through both. We need both. Individuals need to be able to think in both ways. For centuries, to be an intellectual meant to be well-rounded in the humanities, sciences, and the arts. This was the definition of the Renaissance man, which was a scholarly ideal in the time that it derives its name from, but implicitly also in almost every other society and every other time period in human history. In the case of modern science, to treat the entire universe as some sort of abstraction, a result of numbers and laws and principles, something beyond nature that can explain everything away, takes away the life inherent in all parts of nature. The German polymath Goethe, who himself devoted much of his time to studying science, saw the growing view of science as some sort of impersonal force as a negative. To Goethe, what we learn through science should affect our personal lives and view of the world. As our understanding of the world around us grows, so should our imagination, our intuition, our very selves. Science needs the humanities, and the humanities needs the sciences. To conclude my thoughts, I believe that you should learn to love and appreciate both. I do not expect everyone watching this to write dozens of novels that live on for centuries and also find the cure for world hunger simultaneously, but if that is your calling, then I would not discourage you. Simply, I believe that everyone, or at least those interested in intellectual matters, should pay attention to both the sciences and the humanities and do their best to be as well-rounded as possible. In the words of Aristotle, each person judges nobly the things he knows, and of these he is a good judge. He is a good judge of a particular thing, therefore, if he has been educated with a view to it, but is a good judge simply if he has been educated about everything. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and share it all around. Goodbye.